Alright guys, TJHaLy here again today, and it has been confirmed, rumoured for a while, 100 Thieves, Nadeshot's 100 Thieves will not be competing in the CDL for 2020. An announcement went out yesterday saying that 100 Thieves will not be attempting to put in a bid to get a franchise spot for next year's CDL. They've had talkings about it for a long time. We'll go through some clips today from the video that 100 Thieves put out of Nadeshot giving his thoughts, of course CEO and owner of 100 Thieves being Matthew Nadeshot, former professional Call of Duty player. If you're just stumbling across this video and you don't know Nadeshot, then where have you been? So yes, it's now confirmed. A lot of us feared this, a lot of us expected this. His reasoning makes a lot of sense. We're going to go through it. I think it's definitely the correct decision for him and 100 Thieves to make at the current time. In the situation of his organisation, other organisations, it definitely makes sense to invest. Even then, it's a little bit sketchy whether the money's actually worth it. That's something we'll determine over time. But for his organisation, it definitely makes sense. It's what a lot of us expected. We'll go through that in today's video as we went through reciprocity yesterday. So yeah, like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always. Love to hear your thoughts down below. Incredibly interesting time right now. And this is a really big deal, you know, this is a really big loss to the CDL, to be honest, the fact that 100 Thieves aren't deciding to invest. So yeah, I guess that's where we have to start. So one thing to mention here, there was a .esports article that came out saying that Gen.G and Luminosity have been denied spots in the inaugural season. This is what, this is what sources said. According to sources, it fumbled late in negotiations, so it's led to its exclusion from the league. Interestingly, of course, if this is true, because Gen.G has an Overwatch League spot, so this is, and you know, so does Luminosity, so it would be intriguing if they had, because apparently the Overwatch League teams were going to get first pick if they wanted a spot in the Call of Duty League. But anyway, a reply to this came out on Twitter, so this is the article, and we get this reply from Arnold, who is the COO, so the Chief Operating Officer at Gen.G and the Seoul Dynasty, which is their Overwatch League team as far as I'm aware. He says, sources wrong. So effectively saying that whatever sources said in this article that Gen.G and Luminosity aren't getting franchise spots, that's wrong. Now, whether, you know, of course we're going to expect to hear things like this come out, whether it actually is wrong or whether he's just saying that, you know, certain elements of the article are maybe wrong, but the entire message could still be true, who knows. It would still be nice to have some Call of Duty names we've seen this season come into the league. I would, honestly, but, you know, we've seen what's happened with Gen.G, a lot of their players coming up, restricted free agents. Luminosity, nothing yet, so maybe they're still trying, so we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, thought I'd bring that to your guys' attention, at least run it past you, because we know how it's going to go here. We've got 9 teams confirmed so far. 3 more spots yet to go, and you know, at least they want 3 more spots for this season. A lot of the investors, of course, are going to be wealthy venture capitalist firms that are maybe partnering with some other, you know, kind of like what Toronto and Splice are doing. Splice don't completely own the spot, they're partnered with some other venture group, so you know, that kind of makes sense. Of course, when the money is as massive as this, as a kind of a startup organization, a young organization, the likes of 100 Thieves and even, you know, FaZe Clan to some degree, can you really risk creating an entirely separate brand? That's really what Nadeshot talks about in his video, or at least the video that was tweeted out along with this announcement from 100 Thieves. And I will give you guys a couple minutes snippet of that, because it's definitely something worth listening to. So a few more things to go through before we get into this. Ricky Stacy, of course, Big Schlong Rick, the guy who clutched the 1v2 against UIU. I forget what event that was now, but it was mental. Maybe it was back in Anaheim. Yeah, I think it was back in Anaheim. You know, whatever. So he does announce here, he was of course the coach of Luminosity. I'm currently an unrestricted free agent, coach or player going into the 2020 season. Interestingly, a lot of these coaches are mentioning the opportunity for them to come back as a player. Definitely something that would be possible going into a game like, you know, he played this year at the start of the year, didn't really have too much success, but still he did play this year. And next year, you never know. I mean, it's boots on the ground, more traditional game. We don't know how many game modes there's going to be next year. Say that, you know, capture the flag is relatively likely. Ricky's been known as one of the best CTF players and search and destroy players, to be honest, of all time. So keeping your options open as a player kind of makes sense. We also have this from Aqua, restricted free agent for the 2020 CDL season. So yeah, temp is off Splice for sure. Aqua now following in his footsteps right here. And yeah, so moving onwards from this one, we have this. So Nadeshot, this is the video that comes alongside it. This came out last night. It is with a very heavy heart that we announced that 100 Thieves will not be participating in competitive Call of Duty in 2020. And, you know, for someone who's been around the community for a long time, this video is a hard video to watch, because considering what Nadeshot has done for our community and is, you know, the biggest name, has the biggest growth factor of really anyone ever. You can put Scump up there for sure, but Nadeshot and Scump together just did wonders for our community. And Nadeshot, of course, has moved on now to be the CEO of one of the fastest growing esports brands more generally globally, in terms of lifestyle, fashion, like gaming, all of these things combined. 100 Thieves are killing it on every metric possible. And, you know, to some degree, even though relatively we are complete nobodies compared to Nadeshot, there's a weird sense of pride in what he's managed to accomplish, considering where he came from, being like the 19-year-old kid who worked at McDonald's and followed his dreams, and now he's in this position. So it was very difficult for us as a community and for him as an individual going through that journey of Call of Duty and being such an integral part of it to now have to leave it behind. And very difficult decision from him, I'm sure. I do think in his position it is the correct decision. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that. I'm sure a lot of you share that sentiment, and we'll go through exactly the reasons why he discusses and why he thinks that in just a second here. So, you know, it's pretty emotional. I will just share with you this. I don't know how I'm going to crop it. Maybe a couple of minutes of a clip just to show you guys exactly the reasoning that Nadeshot gives in this 8-minute 23-second video, which I will leave linked down below if you want to watch the entire thing.
Fact of the matter is, the CDL is incredibly expensive. It's so expensive. And not only are there a lot of upfront costs, but there are a ton of operational costs that we'll be spending money on and resources on for years. And we are just not equipped and not prepared to make that jump and to make that decision to be all in. We just can't be. 100 Thieves is our brand. I mean, people have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into 100 Thieves. And with the CDL, it's a very good possibility that 100 Thieves would cease to exist in the way that we want it to. Our branding and our persona and our identity is the lifeblood of this company. And we want to stay true to that. And we want that to be what we represent. And I just don't think it'd be possible with the CDL. And so there's so many things that we're focused on, but 100 Thieves at the end of the day is #1 priority, obviously, the brand itself. I mean, I have it etched on my skin. And for us not to be able to represent that fully, it just doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense for us. So can't be a part of it. We're not prepared to find a city either. We're not prepared to put our flag in one place and say, this is our home. This is a worldwide brand. It's an all-encompassing brand. It's something that I want everyone to feel like they're a part of it in more ways than one. And picking a city and building out a local operational team, and I mean, I can talk about that for a very long time, but there are just so many different variables that bake into city-based franchising that we just do not have the resources to commit to it.
So of course he goes through 3 major reasons. The first one is cost. $25 million is a hell of a lot of money for an organization like this to put up. Esports in general, it's very, very difficult to make a profit as an organization. Even very huge organizations are struggling to break even. 100 Thieves and FaZe Clan have managed to get some profitability based on their lifestyle side of things, but still, for a company that's only really been going a year and a bit since they really started kicking off, because yeah, Nadeshot had the 100 Thieves team back in Black Ops 3, that's where he kind of launched the brand, but it didn't really launch as a proper organization until like 2018 really. So for him to get where he has in 1 year is remarkable. The Drake sponsorship, the Scooter Brawn, it's just incredible what he's managed to do. But $25 million is a tough sell, especially when you're a company with about 30 employees, as he mentions elsewhere in this video. Secondly, of course, the brand. This is a key point. 100 Thieves is built entirely on its brand, especially the linking between the gaming side and the esports side and the lifestyle side is what I was really going for there. The merchandise, the branding, it's all 100 Thieves. To be an organization that has the capacity to make an entirely new entity, which is what you're going to have to do. Envy are going to have to create the Dallas question mark, just like they created the Dallas Fuel for the Overwatch League team. 100 Thieves would have to do the same thing. It would not have to be, it couldn't be related to 100 Thieves. Maybe you could keep the same color scheme, but that's about all you're going to manage. Even then it's going to be difficult because apparently Activision are going to come up with the color schemes and tell people to pick and choose logos and all of this stuff. You know, it just is how it is, I guess. And that's not built on the philosophy that 100 Thieves has built, and it's not built on the philosophy of really traditional Call of Duty, of course, by any means, and it's not built on this ground roots philosophy, which grassroots even was what I was going for there, which 100 Thieves is built on. It's pretty much a grassroots organization. This is a key problem when you have to create another separate brand entity. This is something that needs incredible amount of investment, time going into it. To do both simultaneously is so difficult. You've got to sort merchandise for the other one, sponsorship for your organization you're going into the league with. It's you know, for a company like this that's pretty early on in its development, it's way too much cost and way too much probably effort for what it is worth. And when I say what it's worth, who even knows what it's worth? Who even knows what the returns might potentially be? It's not confirmed at all. Who even knows whether $25 million is a reasonable amount? There's a lot of people saying, the likes of Devin Nash and other people have said similar things, that, you know, 25 million is so much money to put down on the table for something like this, and, you know, maybe there won't be a return on investment for those who are putting the money down immediately. Maybe it'll take until, you know, the second, third round of investors come in and they really get the league going before they start seeing profitability, because Activision's sales team are unbelievable. They will sell these $25 million spots no problem at all. They're that good at getting the job done. But is it actually worth it? It's something we'll have to see. And 100 Thieves and Nadeshot are obviously, along with all the other reasons. He mentions the city-based thing as well, which, you know, it does go against, as I say, the grassroots philosophy of a lot of organizations, how it's a worldwide brand. You know, 100 Thieves as a merchandise brand has reached over into Asia, obviously in Europe, the States, of course, all over the place. 100 Thieves has managed to penetrate. To lock it down into one city and to be associated with that city is a very difficult thing to do for an organization that is this new. If you've become an organization like a Cloud9, a Liquid, where you're, you know, an Envy, for example, majority esports gaming based, and you decide that you've got enough years of experience behind you and enough capital behind you that you can feel relatively confident to go out and create other brands, that's something that might be achievable for 100 Thieves in the future, but it's not achievable now, and I think it's honestly a smart decision overall that they're not investing, albeit a sad one for the community. You know, Hastro follows up with this video talking to Nadeshot, basically saying that, you know, we did decide to invest, but he definitely sees the reasons why Nadeshot and that didn't want to. Of course, a lot of people are saying that this is, you know, looks very negatively upon franchising. To some degree it does, but I think Rated's tweet is relatively fair here. Just saying that, look, we haven't seen the implications yet. We'll just have to see how it goes and ride the wave, I guess. You know, also this from Rated just clarifying. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do or even that I agree with doing it, but I just think it's stupid to say it's killed COD before it's even happened, which I think is fair enough. We also have this comment here, comment thread on the Reddit, which I was going to go through, but I've already been chatting for quite a while, so I'll just leave that for you guys to you know, to mull over and to take in. You know, Nate said in his video, we're worldwide, basically saying he doesn't want to participate in the city-based franchise model. And that's what I'm saying, like, this will still be the case next year. It will still be a city-based franchise model. Whether 100 Thieves are eventually going to get to the point where they feel comfortable in creating a separate brand, that's the point they're going to have to be at. And that probably isn't a year away. It's probably not 2 years away. It's probably at least 3 years away. Now, we'll have to see how that goes, whether they will get in crazy investment. Of course, they've grown so much over the last year, so who am I to even judge? But you know, I would say people saying, oh, they'll probably just invest next year, see how it goes. I wouldn't say it's that clear cut, to be honest. Also had an interesting thread here from, so Jacob Wolf did an article on it, and this guy Josh Olin, who, as far as I understand, a marketing director who launched the Toronto Defiant esports brand for the Overwatch League, he says, a lot of interesting comments. Like, as you can see here, my perspective is that these Origin clans built, your perspective is that these Origin clans, the likes of FaZe, OpTic, built the community. My perspective is that COD, partially while I was there, helped build those clan brands by giving them massive platforms to play on for free. And that's the part Activision is changing now, the free part. You know, this take was not getting the best reception. Hector replies to it as well, saying, furthermore, to insinuate that creators didn't help COD because COD is massive is not only wrong, but it diminishes the hard work we put in on this thing. Now companies are paying influencers to play their game to their audience to get some crossover. You know, fair enough. I thought I'd bring this to your guys' attention. An interesting thread that resulted from this discussion. And I mean, with comments more generally, if you just compare the like ratio to the reply ratio, that kind of gives you your like to dislike, if you see what I mean, when you're looking through Twitter. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new. As always, leave your thoughts down below. Difficult time to be a Call of Duty fan. I guess we'll just have to hope for the best. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time.